Hello, welcome back to the show. As of in yesterday, Iranian nationals have took it to the streets in massive numbers, saying that they are tired of the new regime that's been going on there. They are tired of the regime and they are calling for change. And as of lately, Iran have announced that they have recreating their nuclear program that they've been wanting to do, and Trump have not been happy with that and not agreeing with that. Let's go and take a look at some of the videos that's been going on there. And Trump is threatening to fire, send nukes or something if they, the regime, do not figure out something to do and is continue to torture the citizens. Let's go and watch some of the videos about that. Let's start here.
Clear message against rebuilding their nuclear capabilities. Joining me now is Aaron Cohen, Israeli special ops veteran and founder of Gideon. Aaron, great to see you. Thanks for being here. So what's happening there? Is this more about the life, the economy, and the life of your average Iranian than it has to do with geopolitics?
David, it's a good question. I really think this is something much simpler and a little bit deeper. I think the Iranian people have had enough. And I think that these are not radical people. I know Persians. Certainly living in Los Angeles, these are my people, but I know them well from Israel. We've got a monstrous Persian community there. And these people are not extremists. They're not looking for chaos. As a very educated, proud, historically sophisticated people who, in my opinion, have been trapped under a clerical regime that doesn't represent them any longer. They haven't been represented by the IRGC. I think they're tired of the IRGC. And I think that what's changed is that they're no longer afraid in the same way because they realize that the mullahs don't have their best interest. And I think we're seeing it unfold here in real time.
You know, the other thing about Iranians, I think most people don't realize that because we're so caught into our own crashes over the years with the Iranian government. They are great entrepreneurs. They're one of those countries
right.
that just have this entrepreneurial spirit. You'd ask people who worked there before the revolution, Americans and Europeans, they said they love to go to Iran. They could do business with Iranian people. They still have, even though a lot of them have escaped the country, they still have that spirit there, and I think they want to express themselves in the economy, but they can't.
I agree with you 100%. I think for decades, I think the regime has sold a very scary core myth that it was strong, that it was untouchable, David, and that it was winning. And I think that myth is gone. I think the Iranian people watched Israel dismantle Iranian military assets within a couple of weeks with the support of the United States and President Trump.
Yes.
They watched Israel dismantle Hezbollah's leadership. They've been a big piece of that IRGC terror puzzle and their capabilities. And I think they just saw how quickly they were exposed and how hollow that regime is and that power really is. And the Iranian people, like you said, they're smart, they're capable, they're incredible business leaders in their communities. And they saw that this terror empire that their leaders were bragging about doesn't do anything other than start problems and dismantle their economy. And that goes against everything that they stand for. And so I think the illusion's been shattered. I think the fear is starting to crumble. And I think we're starting to see the first pieces of hopefully what can turn into the new revolution. I'm praying that it continues to move in that direction.
You know, in 2009, shortly after Obama became president, there was an uprising, a kind of similar uprising. At least it focused on the regime and the internal problems that they were having in Iran. They got no help at all, zero help from President Obama when that happened. I'm suspecting that if these protests grow a little stronger and become a little more vocal and reach out to this administration, they wouldn't have the same reaction they had with Obama.
Definitely, definitely. And also, if that do happen and continues, that means we are sending more troops down to those countries to go fight. Let's go see this video. I know Trump have responded and said, if Iran shoots and violently kill peaceful protesters, which is their custom, the United States of America will come after and rescue them. We are locked and loaded and ready to go. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That's what Trump have said. Let's go and look at this video. Trump is
Imagine being able to
said. Like, what does that mean for America?
President Trump overnight standing in solidarity with protesters fighting against oppression in Iran as clashes enter day 6 with multiple reported deaths. The president writing on True Social early this morning, quote, "If Iran shoots and violently kills peaceful protesters, which is their custom, the United States of America will come to their rescue. We are locked and loaded and ready to go." Hudson Institute senior fellow Aaron McClain joins me now. Aaron, I'll just start right off with your reaction to President Trump's True Social this morning.
Hey, good morning. I was told last summer that if the president struck the Iranian nuclear program, the consequences would be World War III and the consolidation of support for the Iranian regime within Iran. Obviously, the opposite essentially in both cases has come to pass, and you have the Iranian regime here teetering on the brink. The president's words are welcome, and sometimes we underestimate the power of words in situations like this to give courage to people, the dissidents and the protesters in the streets of Iran who are acting at extraordinary peril, standing up for their own freedom. But as the president's own comments imply, words are probably not going to be enough. We've been down this road before. These protests tend to have tragic endings, and it may be helpful for the United States to take action in support of the protesters.
And you see some of the images of these protests on your screen right now. We have seen reports of people chanting, quote, "Death to the dictator," a clear reference to Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. And this is all because of deteriorating economic conditions, particularly since the 12-day war with Israel this summer. Take a look at these numbers from the New York Times. The annual inflation rate, 42.2% in December. The Iranian rial, the currency, dropped to a record low against the U.S. dollar. Salaries dropping rapidly for residents. And the 2026 budget shows substantial decreases in oil revenue and increases in reliance on taxes. Now, these protesters are mostly merchants and shopkeepers and students. You referenced this a little bit, but I just want to really dig into this. What is the kind of personal risk that these protesters are taking, and do they stand any chance of actually getting what they want?
Well, the risk is death. This regime is one of the world's great executioners. This year alone, hundreds, if not thousands, of Iranians have died in its prisons, especially since the 12-day war back in June, which was followed by rounds and rounds of arrests at home. The stakes are total for these people. And your economic statistics are all absolutely correct. And they also, by the way, point the direction for this administration to follow should they choose to offer support. If the president's standards are protesters getting shot, there are reports of that already circulating. And it's further economic pressure. It's going after the regime's revenue sources, in particular, enforcing the sanctions that are already on the books targeting the regime's energy revenues that will really begin to put pressure on this regime, which is what you're going to have. This regime is willing to use force. It has used it over and over again against its own people. That's what's going to happen here again, almost certainly. And this only has a good ending if the regime starts to doubt its own ability to continue. That's the effect that this administration would need to generate.
Aaron, I got one more quick one for you. As we move now to Venezuela, the Trump administration implementing a lot of the same tactics, trying to cripple Venezuela's economy. But notably, in a state interview television, Nicolas Maduro said that he's now ready to speak with the United States and negotiate with the Trump administration. Do you think that Trump is ready to talk, or is regime change the only solution here?
Oh, gosh, if I were Nicolas Maduro, I might want a deal as well. Venezuela really is the target of relentless sanctions enforcement on top of some other pretty strong measures. We see the Trump administration seizing these tankers at sea. We have this complicated story of the tanker that's claiming to be Russian right now, running from the United States Coast Guard. It's not clear exactly what the terms of the deal would be, given that, as you point out in your question, for several weeks now, it's been pretty clear that what the Trump administration wants is Maduro's own removal. And if what Maduro is going to bring to the table involves things like further Eurasian great power interference in the Western Hemisphere, like the Russian diplomatic involvement in this tanker situation, I can't imagine that's going to be that attractive to this administration.
All right.
Let's also
Aaron
see
McClain.
what Governor Watts has to say.
If you're a producer who hates AI,
been fighting this for a while, and this is Trump's own plan for things to go like this.
Development Secretary Scott Turner joins me now. It's very hard to understand how this has gone on for so many years, especially considering there were a couple guilty pleas on this. And the governor's office, Tim Walz, has said that they have been on it. There's an investigation, but yet nobody's been found guilty of anything.
Well, Happy New Year, Julie. Thank you for having me. I know from HUD's standpoint, you know, we have boots on the ground right now. We have investigators that are making sure that any HUD-funded programs in Minnesota are being carried out appropriately. Also, we just launched an investigation into housing authorities, public housing authorities there in Minnesota. They receive about $108 million in Minneapolis and also about $46 million in public housing assistance there. So we want to make sure that we're being good stewards over taxpayer money. So these investigations are going on right now from a HUD standpoint. And to the president's point, we have to root out this fraud and abuse and this waste, because this is hardworking American taxpayer funds, and there's been criminal activity going on. And so we have to root it out and continue to enforce the law.
Okay, so let's talk about the alleged lawbreakers. They are Somali immigrants. That is a fact. And the investigation will continue to find whether or not there are other people involved. But nonetheless, you've got mainstream media that seems to be focusing less on the actual massive fraud scandal that is happening and developing every day more and more. We're learning more out of Minnesota, and focusing more on the Somali immigrants that are actually the real victims in all of this. Listen to this exchange on CNN, for example.
What's going on here is very clear. It's a targeting of the Somalis.
Everything seems to be about whether or not the people involved here are Somali.
The white evangelical crowd who purports to uphold these Christian values are celebrating targeting communities because of their ethnicity and cutting off care to children.
And it's not just racist and xenophobic. It's actually dangerous, because what Donald Trump is doing in targeting this community, it's putting American citizens in danger.
What does targeting Somali immigrants and communities and racism, quite frankly, have to do with illegal activity? I mean, there are videos, there are surveillance videos of people actually exchanging hands, exchanging money with parents that are pretending to bring their kids to these leaning centers. I love that one with the typo on that learning center. And then taking their kids away and people collecting money on it. I can't understand what ethnicity has to do with that. That's just fraud.
Okay,
Well, Julie,
I've also seen only one video of that, and since then I haven't seen no other proof of that. If there is any other proof, because I know you guys in my comment section love that, let me know. Send me a picture of it and let me see in the comment section.
has nothing to do with, it's smoke and mirrors. This is all a distraction from what the real problem is here. This has nothing to do with race, has nothing to do with ethnicity. We have to, under President Trump's leadership, American people are first. Our country is first. Has nothing to do with the Somalis, but it has everything to do with criminal activity. Our job, when we get appointed, elected, our job is to uphold the law. And so that's what you see going on right now. And there's a lot of people in our country, the clip that you showed, some of the media, far left activists that actually do not want the laws of America to be upheld. But this is a day with President Trump and other leaders in our administration where we're going to uphold the law, enforce the law, and prioritize the American people and American people only.
I want you to listen to David Sachs on why he believes that Democrats aren't outraged over Somali fraud. Let's listen.
Democrats denouncing government waste is like Don Corleone denouncing the mafia. Okay. The Democrat Party is the party of government waste and spending, taxation. It's the party of government. Okay. And they just want the government to be as large as possible. And if a big chunk of that goes to fraudsters, so be it. You know what? Those fraudsters are donors too.
Yeah, I mean, the government has been doling out millions of dollars for fraudsters, and the Democrats don't think to seem that's a problem.
Well, yes, ma'am. With our agency finance report that just came out at HUD, we found that a potential over $5 billion of payment errors were made during the Biden administration. So not only is this a massive abuse of taxpayer dollars, but it also was incentivized because of the negligence and the inability of the Biden administration to put in proper financial controls. And so you think about it, those that don't want the law to be upheld, obviously either they're benefiting from it or they don't care about our country. But this is a new day, new president, new administration. We care about the American people. We want to be and we will be good stewards. We will enforce the law. And those that have criminalized and frauded the American people, they will be held accountable.
All right, Scott Turner, thank you very much. Happy New Year. Thank you for talking to us. Appreciate it.
Happy New Year.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page. And
what is you guys' thoughts on that? They said they are locked and loaded and ready to go. Very interesting. Definitely, we will be here to see more of this, as we know there's more stories to come. Not only in Minnesota, fraud story going on right now. We have a new case brewing coming from Columbus, Ohio. They said there's a lot of fraud going on there too. And not only there, there's looking like next is gonna be Washington. Next is gonna be all these other states that they are talking about. So we'll be here to give you all the information as I post probably 2 times or 3 times every 2 hours. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, as I will be updating you. If you are not following me, follow me on Facebook too, which is where I'll be posting most of the shorts. Thank you. Have a nice day.